Hey guys, welcome back. It is time to look at CGC's article that they just posted on 6/7/2022. Just noticing this now, but this is another little tidbit. Cards that are almost certainly coming from our boy Arjun Dhillon. If you haven't seen those videos, I'll put a link to them below. They're lengthy. This dude is a scammerini for life. There's a couple of them there. I think there's 4 parts at this point in time. Links in the description. But yeah, scammed. The dude was selling resealed stuff. He was selling fake stamps. This is all after being in trouble at the federal level already for doing a little Kanye West scam, as we've seen. He worked alongside or on a project with Kanye West and was basically getting people to wire money to him, deceiving them, saying that it was for Kanye. It was not for Kanye. So oopsie doopsie, legal trouble, you know. So yeah, this is Arjun. They don't say it's Arjun. I think they probably should. They're claiming in the article. We'll go through it, but they're claiming in the article like, oh my God, fake stamps are on the rise. No, fake stamps are not necessarily on the rise. There's one guy that was doing all the fake stamps. They should know this. I'm sure they watched my videos and know about Arjun. I'm sure they banned Arjun. I'm sure he's not allowed to submit, but he was also getting other people to submit for him. So I think this is a good step by CGC by putting this article out and some information about the ghost stamp itself, which is kind of interesting. But I think the protect yourself could be a little bit better. And I think all grading companies, as we'll see here, I don't think CGC puts everything under magnification, but I think every grading company should. If they're going to charge you as much as they do, and if you're going to believe the fact that they're going to tell you it's authentic, they should be putting everything under magnification. If not, to look for like fake stamps, fake cards, just any form of alteration in general. It makes no sense for them not to have a microscope, even if it doesn't have a camera on it. Though those are pretty affordable at this point too. So let's go. Article time. And I'll try to keep the rants to a minimum here. Counterfeit Card Alert, Ghost Stamp, Error Pikachu. CGC Trading Cards discovers the cause of the Ghost Stamp Pikachu error while identifying a fake example of the famous card. So it's weird that they didn't make this article prior to the information coming out in my videos. And from the grading companies themselves that did grade these fake stamps. Now all of a sudden it's an important issue for them to discuss. CGC Trading Cards discovers the cause of the Ghost Stamp Pikachu error while identifying a fake example of the famous card. One of the more interesting repeating errors found in the Pokemon base set is the so-called Ghost Stamp Error Pikachu. These rare cards, which are sometimes found in the Gold Strip sealed Zap theme decks, feature just a portion of the normal first edition stamp. Only the outlines of the letters in addition are visible, and the number 1 and the letter D are entirely missing. The value of these error cards is on the rise, and as a result, so is the number of fakes. One such counterfeit in the grading room caused CGC Trading Cards to further investigate the cause of this error. So this as well, I'm kind of a little bit skeptical that this error was the one that like really made them investigate. Chances are, if it was Arjun sending it in, or if it was someone that was sending in cards from Arjun, there's a very good chance there was a whole bunch that were caught, and it wasn't necessarily this one. Maybe this one was over a certain value, and they looked extra close. I would imagine that if they caught everything, it was largely due to the fact that they caught one. And then everything from that person that submit should be extra super double ultra checked. And if they keep submitting stuff that's altered or that has fake stamps on it, and you're fairly certain that it's the person that's submitting the cards, like Arjun did, he was submitting mass cards. They were all fake stamps. Everything that he submit, as far as I'm aware, both the PSA and AGS, everything was fake or fake stamped. There were no legitimate cards mixed in. He didn't try to hide it. He just went balls to the walls, fake stamp every day, all day. So here we have a high grade. I don't know if I'd call it a high grade. It's an 8.5 and a WotC non-hollow. I guess it's high grade because most of CGC grades are 8.5s. How did the Ghost Stamp Pikachu error occur? So I think this is the most kind of interesting part of the article and the most useful. The cause of Ghost Stamp Pikachu error has been a mystery, but CGC trading cards can now reveal how the error might have occurred, thanks to former Wizards of the Coast lead typesetter Christopher Nitz. Nitz even speculates that it may have been the one to unintentionally let this error slip by. Again, like stuff like this, everyone's like, why don't you just talk to the WotC employees or the people in the shipping department? It's because when it was like 25 years ago or 20 years ago, even for some of this stuff, they're not going to remember little details. For the most part, he's going to know the printing process, so that's useful. But saying like, oh, that day he had a bologna sandwich and it was the only one he had that year, and it was raining that day, and like he accidentally stapled his nutsack to his desk, like little details and little stuff like that, or little nuanced things like the shipping details especially, you can't really rely on that stuff. But according to Nitz, while this variant is colloquially named the Ghost Stamp error, the design element printed on these cards is, in fact, an artifact of the printing process known as trap. Essentially, traps are used in offset printing to make sure that slight variations in registration do not affect the overall look of the print itself by overlapping some of the colors. Close-up of a first edition stamp from the same era. In the above photo, this first edition stamp from the same era appears to be made of two different layers of black ink. However, the outline around some of the letters is actually a trap that is slightly misplaced on the printing plate. On the Ghost Stamp era, the filled-in parts of the design are missing, leaving only the hollow trap behind. Nitz explained that the first edition stamps were printed onto the cards after the rest of the CMYK process. We pretty much know that, using a separate printing plate loaded into the same press. This is why, especially on first edition base set cards, the stamp is almost always in the same place. I've been telling people this all the time. They don't want to listen. But yeah, that's the biggest thing here. That even with the naked eye across the room between your stepsister's legs, you can see plain as day that these Arjun stamps are completely wrong. And they shouldn't even if a grader has taken 20 seconds to look at this thing, there's no way that they should miss it. But again, how experienced are they? How much are they paying attention? How much are they getting paid? How much do they want to be there? How much are they even, maybe they have to do 69 cards an hour, and half of that time they're sleeping on their desk. So what likely happened in the case of the Ghost Stamp is that when the CMYK plates were being created, the trap part of the design for the first edition stamp that normally would have been on the additional plate was accidentally included on the regular plates for at least one of the Pikachu cards on the sheet. Therefore, even without the separate first edition plate, each of these Pikachu cards will show this partial first edition stamp. Only the base set Shadowless Pikachu cards from this specific deck are known to have this error, so it is likely that the error only affected the plates for this deck. So I'm not totally sure why they're missing the parts here, but Nitz thinks that a similar error during the conversion of a card data in the computer onto the actual plates may also be responsible for the 3D effect that some first edition stamps display. The vendor we used for that set of film negatives may have used some sort of auto-trapping software that could distort the trap versus the art. I think the software end of things are more likely because especially where you got like a partial, you don't have the whole thing there. What is the value of a Ghost Stamp Pikachu? Because this error is on cards featuring one of the most popular Pokemon, it adds to their value and allure. For an idea of the added value of this variant, a Ghost Stamp, they gotta plug a Ghost Stamp error graded CGC 8 sold for $900 on eBay in May 2022, whereas a non-error example in the same grade is currently only worth about $25. With such a large value increase resulting from only a minor change to the card, forgers have recently targeted this rare variant. They targeted this, and they targeted a whole lot of other stuff because it was Arjun that we're talking about. You can't say Arjun Dhillon because you're a company and you're probably oopsie doopsie scared that he's going to sue you or something. But I'm going to say it. It's Arjun Dhillon. This is Arjun Dhillon. This is an article based on Arjun Dhillon. We're talking about this because Arjun Dhillon fake stamped this shit. How did CGC trading cards identify the fake? Well, they probably saw that everything this guy was sending in, or whoever was sending in for him, or whoever bought from him was sending in, they were all fake. Catch one, catch them all. Gotta catch them all. Gotta catch all the fakes. This card was recently submitted to CGC Trading Cards for grading. While at first glance, it certainly appears to be a rare ghost stamp error, it is in fact a normal shadowless Pikachu with a fake stamp imitating the error added to it. Yeah, well, that's pretty much what we've seen. It's weird that they made the articles strictly based on this, when they almost certainly know that it all came from Arjun. Maybe you should have an article. Maybe they're going to have an article where they show all the fake stamps, all of the fake stamps that they got. All of them came from Arjun, almost certainly. In the images below, the stamp on the altered card looks decent, even at this close range, except for the stamp's placement. Because the first edition stamps for base set were on a printing plate loaded into the same printer producing the cards, the location of the stamp is very consistent. It's painfully consistent. The middle of the T set, in addition, should always line up with the bottom left corner of the art box. In the case of the fraudulent stamp, it is placed too far to the left. It sure is. Also, you can line up the one, so everything's out of place here, out of whack. And you can also see that our tilt, the tilt of the letters are not exactly how they should be. That's just how it is. With a closer look, the differences between the two stamps become even more apparent. At this level of magnification, the quality of the forged stamp is quite obviously inferior. The lines are clear and crisp in the genuine example, while the forgery appears mottled with blurred edges, and there is even some overspray. So I don't think it's overspray because this is a thermal printer. It's weird that they don't know that. Genuine example on the left here, and the forged stamp on the right at increased magnification. So guys, this is why you don't need to send your cards to grading companies. You just get a jeweler's loupe. You look at this yourself. You'll be able to tell if Arjun dicked with your cards. Also note the shape of the O, which is made up of straight line segments on the genuine stamp, but is rounded on the fake. And this difference in shape and print quality is due to the types of printers used. While the printing companies making Pokemon cards are using school bus sized offset lithography commercial printers, this forger was likely using something in their own home like an inkjet or laser printer that simply cannot print to the same quality. This difference in quality is even more apparent under infrared lighting. So no, that's not. How do you not know what they used? It's a thermal printer. I already covered this. He used a thermal printer. You can scratch it off with your finger. You shouldn't be able to scratch off if it's actually ink, if it's actually printed on there by Wizards of the Coast in 1999, just like the stop tape. You can scratch it off. But yeah, it seems like they don't even know what kind of ink was used or what kind of printer was used. But I'm here to tell you, it was Arjun. It was a thermal printer. That's it. This is Arjun written all over this. I would be very surprised if somebody else was the creator of this little bad boy right here. We do know that he did ghost stamps. We know that he did gray stamps. We know that he did thin stamps. He was doing all the stamps. He was stamping every stamp, tramp stamps, you name it. This is Arjun. This is a thermal printer. Hopefully they have another article with the other types of stamps and what to look for. This is not too, probably a little bit more professional than my thread on E4. I'll put a link to that as well in the description. It shows the stamps under magnification, what you should be looking for. Buy a $3 jeweler's loupe. Check them yourself. Fuck the grading companies. They're not going to catch this stuff at the time. How many did CGC miss? We don't know. We haven't found any yet, but it looks like we got BGS, we got PSA, we got AGS. It's just a matter of time before something pops up that's wrong with the CGC as well. It's good that they did catch this stuff. Better if they focus this article more on the counterfeiter, who to look out for, what to look for, and less on plugging the price of a ghost stamp CGC Pikachu. Under infrared lighting, the yellow and red dots that make up the printing of the background of the card fade away, and the structure of the cardstock and the black ink can be seen. Note how incredibly crisp the genuine stamp is, whereas the exact opposite can be said of the forgery. Also, the area around the stamp on the forgery is covered in small black specks of ink from being run through a printer to add the stamp. Not what happened. This would never be seen on a genuine card, nor would the broken and incomplete letters of the stamp. In addition to this altered card, CGC trading cards expert graders have noted a significant uptick in added regular first edition stamps on WotC era cards. Yes, that's fucking Arjun. It's Arjun. It's just Arjun. It's not an uptick. The uptick is one guy that was doing it. And some of these forgeries can be quite deceptive. It is always important to be vigilant when buying raw high-value cards that are only more valuable due to a small difference like a first edition stamp. Every card certified by CGC Trading Cards is guaranteed to be authentic and accurately graded. Well, that's great and all, but what does that mean? Does that mean if you graded one that was fake that you're going to pay out the full market value on it? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? It's certified. What does that mean? Tell us what it means. Thanks guys for tuning in. Sorry I got a little bit worked up there, but check your own cards, get a jeweler's loop, check the guide that I'm going to put in the description on the stamps. Check out the videos of the fake stamper Arjun Dhillon. If you got scammed by Arjun, you have one of these fakey wakey stamps, send me an email. Again, that email is ArjunIsADick@gmail.com. See you next time. Join the Discord.